It'll be very interesting to see what happens with Cuba because of this global integration strategy. It's going to be incredibly crazy to see what happens with him on Cuba. I think that that's a total active issue because I honestly believe if you got the right person in the room with him and said, hey, you got to get this embargo on Cuba down. And if you do, Russia and China are going to give you this, this, and this, and Venezuela will give you this, this, and this. Like, I think that he would do it. I'm not to say that that's a good thing. He would be the one guy to do it because he doesn't care about ideology. He cares about, he can say quality of life. He can say, oh, we're going to bring great business to Cuba. And Cuba can say, yeah, it's still like China has great American business in China. It's not communist, right? It's not controlled. Like, Cuba can integrate developmentalist capitalism into their socialist system if people just let them. That's the thing. This is why the business lobby is in favor of ending the embargo on Cuba. A great example of how that works and how it benefits both parties is Costa Rica, because Costa Rica changed their legal system to make it so that things like gambling, foreign investment, if you ended up becoming a citizen, things like that, all become a deep framework of their political system, which made it so that they can be, it's not colonialism, right? It's post-colonial developmentalism, so that they open up their market to the world, to global capitalism, but they have it on their terms. So like if you want to invest in property in Costa Rica, you have to be a citizen. You can't be a foreign national. Also, like they created all of these different laws so that companies would want to, like the sports betting thing and stuff like that, and crypto and stuff like that. But Costa Rica, because Costa Rica changed their laws to fit a demand that capitalism was calling for. And because of that, all of these different foreign investors went there, they didn't go there and exploit them. They went there and invested because their laws demanded it. You can't go there and exploit them. You have to be a citizen. If you're a landholder, you have to be a citizen. So companies went there because it became viable for them to do business there, and it lifted their quality of life up exponentially. That's not socialism. It's capitalism, but it's controlled capitalism, state-controlled capitalism, developmentalism. The thing about it is that Cuba has a fucking socialist revolution that is still ongoing. So if you open up them to the market, they're going to become like the cornerstone of it. Like they will be. That's why there never has been like an official pink tide, is because Cuba has been cornered off from dealing with Brazil, Mexico, etc. As soon as Cuba is able to deal with all those other countries, they're going to be able to lift themselves up exponentially and then give the model to everyone else. This is what we need to do. And then they're off. Right? And again, there's no one stupid enough to do that than Trump. It's not because of any type of moral affinity. It's because he wants to say he's the guy who got that deal done. And if it's done in a way that if he can say, we're opening up the markets in Cuba, we're going to open up the markets for global investment in Cuba. And Cubans are like, yes, no longer a question about communism or socialism or whatever. There, he won. Now, what are the Republicans going to say? They can't say shit. He can frame it as a victory. So can the fucking Cubans, the socialist Cubans, right? Because the socialist Cubans have their laws. Their laws will not be changed. It's not like there's going to be fucking casinos opening up overnight. If there are, they'll be run by the Cuban government. And that's the thing, is that that's capitalism. Capitalism doesn't care about communism. That's the thing, right? Capitalism wants as many open markets as possible. And that's why it becomes at this point now where like the ideology of American hegemony is outdated, because capitalism's like, hey, we're going to do business with as many people as we want. We don't care about their ideology. That's why Nike's in Vietnam. That's why Apple's in fucking China. And this is what I'm saying. Wait until you don't have peasants in fucking Cuba working on farms, but you have people in Cuba working on fucking low cost cars, like the e-cars that China's building, like, or in Haiti, you know what I mean? Like the residual effect of like, that's exactly what I'm saying, is that the residual effect of taking that embargo off Cuba, and then Cuba being able to show, because of their system and having fucking laws to prevent like foreign international capital from exploiting them, to say, Haiti, this is what you can do too. And then that creates the framework where, again, it's no longer about fucking communism, right? It's about capitalism. And China set that framework. China is the one who set that framework where it's like, let's make it so it's no longer a fucking struggle about ideology. That's what Stalin got wrong. Stalin took Marxism, Leninism, and then made it a military struggle about fucking ideology, which you will never going to win because you were always outgunned. What China has done is they've now made it it's an ideological thing that's being played out in the free market. So it's like, hey, this is what you wanted. So it's like capitalism has no other choice but to be like, yeah, you're right. Let's go to the moon. And then it's America that's sitting in the corner being like, wait, what? And that's what we're living in. And this is the thing, is that Harris would not have been okay with that. The Harris administration under fucking Cheney and all of those hawks, they would have done everything in their power to prevent that. Trump is a deal maker. And again, it's not meant to be like hopeless optimism or anything like that. The reality of the situation is like, Trump is selfish enough to not realize the ideological terms of what's happening. And capitalism is at the point that it doesn't care either.